The entire people of Judah took Uzziah, who was 16 years old, and they made him king instead of his father Amaziah. He built Elath and restored it to Judah after the king slept with his forefathers. Uzziah was 16 years old when he became king, and he reigned 52 years. And Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Jechaliah of Jerusalem. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, as all that Amaziah his father had done. And it was his custom to seek God in the days of Zechariah, who understood the visions of God, and when he sought the Lord, God caused him to prosper. And he went forth, waged war with the Philistines, and he breached the wall of Gath, and the wall of Jabneh, and the wall of Ashdod, and he built cities in Ashdod and among the Philistines, and God helped him against the Philistines and against the Arabs who dealt in Gerbal, and the Moonites. The Amorites gave Uzziah a gift, and his name went until the approach to Egypt, for he had become exceedingly strong. And Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem at the corner gate, and at the valley gate, and at the corner, and he strengthened them. And he built towers in the desert, and he hewed many cisterns, for he had much cattle, and in the lowlands, and in the plains, plowmen and wine dressers, in the mountains, and in the fruitful fields, for he loved the soil. Uzziah had a force of warriors who went out to war by bands according to the number of their counting, by the hand of Jael the scribe, and Messiah the officer, under the hand of Hananiah, one of the king's chiefs. The entire number of the heads of the fathers' houses of the mighty warriors, 2,600 under their jurisdiction. An army of 300,000 and 7,500, those who waged war with mighty power to help the king against the enemy. And Uzziah prepared for them, for the entire host, shields, spears, helmets, coats of mail, bows, and sling stones. And he made in Jerusalem engines invented by skillful men to be on the towers and on the corners, to shoot with arrows and with huge stones. And his fame went forth far abroad, for he did wondrous things to help himself until he became strong. When he became strong, his heart became haughty, till he became corrupt, and he trespassed against the Lord his God. And he came into the temple of the Lord to burn incense on the altar of incense. Azariah the priest came after him, and with him were priests of the Lord, 80 mighty men. And they stood before Uzziah the king, and said to him, It is not for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to the Lord, but for the priests, sons of Aaron, who are consecrated to burn incense. Leave the sanctuary, for you have trespassed, and it will not be glory for you from the Lord God. And Uzziah became furious, and in his hand was a censer to burn. His fury with the priest, the wrath shone upon his forehead before the priests in the house of the Lord over the altar of incense. And Uzziah the chief priest, Azariah the chief priest, and all the priests turned to him, and behold, he was stricken with wrath on his forehead. So they rushed him out of there, and he too hastened to leave, for the Lord had smitten him. King Uzziah was stricken with wrath till the day of his death, and he lived in a house of retirement, for it had been decreed from the house of the Lord, and Jotham his son was over the king's house. He judged the people of the land. The rest of the events of Uzziah, both the earlier ones and the later ones, Isaiah the son of Amoz the prophet inscribed. And Uzziah slept with his forefathers, and they buried him with his forefathers in the cemetery of the kings, for they said, He is a Mazorah. Jotham his son reigned in his stead.